Welcome to the Mindgem Podcast, where we dive deep into the future of work, explore the secrets of workplace well-being, and uncover the magic of personal branding and development. Our mission is to help you discover your inner gem so that you can shine brightly and make a positive impact in your life and career. I'm your host Ratna, and today we have a very special guest. We have none other than Handi Kurniawan. Handi Kurniawan is a Group Senior Vice President of Human Strategy and Talent Management of Bank Mandiri. He has a proven global track record in strategic business partnering and HR Center of Excellence across different sectors as well as geographies. He also has a deep experience in talent management, learning and development, culture transformation, leadership coaching, as well as organization transformation. So his unique ability includes combining world-class HR practices with strong business acumen and stakeholders management. His experience at the country, regional ASEAN, Asia-Pac, and the group level has allowed him to think and work both strategically and operationally. Okay, today we have a very, very special guest with us. So we have Pak Handi Kurniawan. Thank you so much, Handi, for being here today.
Thank you, Ratna, for inviting. It's a pleasure and honor to be in your podcast.
Thank you so much. I'm so honored and pleasure to have you here as well, to share with each and every one of us.
Likewise.
Right, yes. So maybe let's start with a bit of introduction about yourself, just to give a bit of context, sharing a little bit more about your career journey as well, and to get where you are today.
Sure. I'm from Indonesia. Why I introduce this? Because your audience probably in the Southeast Asia region or Asia, right? So I'm from Indonesia. I was born and it was a small city, but I always have aspirations to see the world. So I always want to see what's the world out there. And therefore, when I was in senior high school, I chose the high school where they have the student exchange program. So that was my first overseas experience to Perth, Australia.
Oh, nice.
And it has inspired me a lot. And when I first started my career in General Electric, GE is a global company, and therefore I also had an opportunity to have international assignment.
Right.
And then that was my first expatriate assignment, although not very long time. It was 6 months in Beijing. Right. So that's before Olympic. So the sky was so blue and a lot of people are still riding bicycle. It was amazing experience.
Right. No pollution.
No pollution at the time in year 2001.
Right.
So before the Beijing Olympics.
Okay.
So that was really good. And then also in Hong Kong for a short stint. And then GE. Then I moved to a bank, Standard Chartered Bank. And in Standard also, I was being rotated quite a lot, to Taipei, to Malaysia, Kuala Lumpur, to Singapore.
Okay.
So again, wonderful exposures. Then I returned to Jakarta. And then I took my second master's degree in the US. Full time. So I took sabbatical leave.
Right.
And then when I came back, and not long after that, I had another overseas opportunity, and at the time was in Hong Kong.
Right.
So I spent 7 years in Hong Kong, and then now I return to Jakarta again. So basically, I'm very grateful and fortunate to have worked and live in 7 countries.
Amazing. So over 24 years of your career, right? 5 years. What would some of the leadership insights that you actually learned over the years to climb to where you are today?
Of course, I learned a lot, Ratna. This 25 years of career, right? I joined great companies, so I met with great leaders. So I learned a lot from them. And I also learned from bad managers as well. Because even though working in great companies, not necessarily that all leaders are great, right? But luckily, most of them are great leaders, where I learned a lot. So I learned from how to set a very high standard for myself and for the team. I learned how to be really a visionary. But at the same time, I also learned how to be able to execute the strategy. At the end of the day, every company wants to win, right? And I also learned the hard way along the journey of my career.
Right. So what are the lessons that you learned the hard way through this journey?
Oh, a lot. For example, how you picked up your knowledge and skills. Some of the great lesson learned in a hard way. Maybe I will share 2 examples. One is the transition, because as I mentioned earlier, I was from a small city. And then suddenly I worked for a global company, General Electric. At the time, my English was so bad. Not so bad, but not at par as my colleagues who joined the management training in GE from mostly Ivy League universities. So I have to catch up a lot because back then the Indonesia education system was unlike in the West, right?
Yeah. I can totally resonate with it.
Yeah, so I learned in a hard way. I have to catch up a lot. I have to catch up English. I have to catch up the way they communicate, so articulate, right? So elaborative. So I learned a lot along the way. But thankfully, I think after 5 years or so, even I'm being asked by my manager to conduct presentation and communication skills. So that's one. And then second thing, for example, as I grew up in my career, then I know that being competent or capable enough or capable is not enough.
Right.
You need to really have a high EQ, need to understand the politics and all that. It's just a reality working in corporation,
Exactly.
either big or small.
Being capable is like the basic, right? You have to be capable to be able to perform the job, but I think there is a lot more skills that we need to develop to be able to also be on our peak performance at a peak, right? So what are the skills you think people should pick up, grow their career?
Aside from being competent, what I recently told my team, for example, if you really want to be a high performer or high potential in the organizations, basically being able to exceed in your role is just 70% of your success.
Exactly.
Yeah?
Yes.
So this is the important term. Exceed in your work is just 70%, not even just meet. Right? The 20%, I think, is really to understand the social network within and outside the work community itself. So you need to be able to connect people internally, the important stakeholders, and external stakeholders. That's the 20%. Still, there is 10% that mostly uncontrollable, but it's really the X factor. But this X factor also can be explained actually. For example, chemistry with people, knowing the right people, know to see the opportunity, how to value add in different ways. All this combination if you really want to be a high performer.
Exactly. I remember when you mentioned about it, I remember someone also mentioned about it that in the performance appraisal, right? Performance is just a fraction of it. There is a image as well, which is like comes in the form of like personal branding. How do you communicate yourself, your values, your strengths, to be able to also amplify your values to people, right? And add values to the organizations, connecting with which you mentioned earlier. And the third one is the exposure, right? How do you get exposure to different people, helping to connect people together as well? That's also a big part of how can you excel and be a high performance in the organization too, right? And I'm curious to hear, like, tap on your past experience in talent management, right? And talking about identifying high potential, especially in the bank, which you mentioned you have close to 40,000 employees. How do you identify and nurture high potential in such a large organization?
First of all, you mentioned about how to identify high performance and high potential people. How do you identify talent in short? So there are many scientific ways to identify it, but normally in the company, in HR especially, everybody know the performance and potential metrics in 9 quadrant. The 9 boxes, 4 boxes or whatsoever. But in short, there is one framework that, again, a lot of people especially in HR knows about this. We see high potential through 3 elements: ability, engagement, and aspirations. So ability is the competency and all that, to be able to exceed in their role. So that's ability, right? And then aspiration. So this person needs to have a high aspiration, healthy aspiration.
Yes.
Because if they are not talent, if they're not hypo, probably they will limit themselves. For example, if we know her potential, and then she doesn't want to go overseas because of this, because of that. She doesn't want to go outside of their home city, right? So that means that they don't want to progress enough.
Yes, exactly.
So that's aspiration. And then lastly, the engagement. To what extent that this talent engage to the company. And that is also another important factor.
Right.
Because we are going to talk about the investment in their development and all that. If they engage, they love the company, they want to really, really significantly contribute and want to stay for some period of time. There is no like lifetime employment, very, very rarely. But if they're able to at least loyal to certain period of time, this is the last element of how we identify talent. And then it comes to the development.
Okay. So you mentioned 3 areas: ability, aspirations, as well as engagement. Okay. And talking about engagement, right? Like you also, as a HR leader, you've got to engage the employees to be able to also stay long with the companies and all that, right? What are some strategies that you have implemented also maybe across your career, right, that works in terms of engaging employees and they feel valued at work?
Yes, great questions. I think depending on which generation they are, I think one framework that works is using the Maslow hierarchy, right?
The basic needs.
First of all, you have to fulfill the basic needs.
Yep. Oh, I know the more basic is Wi-Fi.
So that's for the new generation.
Yes.
It's true. So the basic have to be correct. All the reward, benefit, including Wi-Fi,
Yes.
available,
Yeah.
right? And then the next step is how does the company help them to engage by allowing them to have really a social network. This is really a basic human needs. The social network, they have good friends at work, they have something to belong to.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah? So they are happy where they are. I think it's really important. And then the last thing on top of the pyramid is for them to be able to actualize themselves. It's a human need. People want to exist. People want to be able to be noticed, to be recognized. They can really contribute. They feel the impact to the company, to the society, to the country, and all that.
Right.
So we provide these insights to our people.
Okay. Just to break it down a little deeper, to understand a bit more about some of the initiatives that you have implemented in different levels. Like, for example, the first one which you mentioned about social connections, right? Making them to feel belong. And then also like the second one is...
The first one is the basic salary, reward, benefit, including Wi-Fi as a benefit, right? And then social connection, and then for the actualization.
Yes. So what are some initiatives that you have implemented to address those levels?
For the basic level, aside from the normal, of course, when everybody works, then everybody need to have a salary, reward, benefit.
Yeah.
In the reward and benefit itself, actually a lot of innovation around it.
Right.
So for example, in my previous company, we have a flexible benefit. So for example, if you don't take annual leave, then you can have something else. Or you want to sacrifice other thing for having more annual leave.
Right.
So flexible benefit is actually quite innovative and not easy to administer.
Yeah.
Unless you have a system and all that. But this is the example of the real thing for the basic part.
Yeah.
Now for the social part. For the social part, in general, then we can have a lot of activities, a lot of events. Can be sports event, can be movie night event, can be all these event, team building activities,
makan
sessions, all that is really important. Especially, I think, and it's across cultures, whether it's in a Western culture or East cultures, it's the same.
Yes, exactly.
People want to be able to connect, right? And I start to notice, Ratna, and this is also something that I observed after I returned to Indonesia. This is probably unique.
Tell me more.
Indonesian and Indonesian professional loves taking photos more than
anyone.
At least when I was in Hong Kong or Singapore. In Indonesia, every session or every event is photo taking opportunities.
Okay.
Because then they will be able to show to other people through their social media, LinkedIn, Instagram, TikTok, or whatever, that, hey, I'm part of the organization and we have some cool stuff. We have makan here, makan there, this, that, went to Bali and whatsoever. They feel like they are special.
Right.
This is a strategy, an effective strategy.
It's very nice. I'll implement that more often.
It's true, Because I recently met my friend who's the owner of a medium enterprise, but she's introvert. She's an introvert. She didn't realize how young people, the Gen Z, really love this kind of thing.
Right.
When she hear this from me, then definitely I will do more activities.
Okay. And thanks for sharing that. And I mean, nowadays, with regards to engagement, right now, we have like a multi-generational workforce as well. And you've got to design a session according to different generations as well. I'm curious to hear like your thoughts on this. How do you manage and also maybe tailor some of this learning or even engagement to meet their needs?
Absolutely. I mean, people preference are like, for example, the makan-makan, right? Everybody love makan-makan, different, regardless of the generation. But the location is probably different. The location, the setting, and then what kind of event. For example, like movie night, probably not appealing to everybody. Or sports, people have different sports, right?
Right.
So how does the company able to capture all this, the majority of the people's preference, and then cater to it? It's contextual.
Okay.
It's all contextual.
Okay. Cool. So let's talk a little bit more about, because like earlier we chatted quite a bit about leadership and culture, and I think that's like a strong foundation of good company, right? So I'm curious to hear, and also from your LinkedIn post as well, you talk quite a bit about, core values, instilling core values as well as DNA into the organizations, right? How do you ensure that these core values are being instilled into the organizations, and how can we influence people to also follow through these core values as well?
Yes. So I think almost every companies have or put their core values in the wall or in a computer or whatsoever, but not everybody can really live and work the values, the work values, right? I think really number one is the top management have to walk the talk. This is number one. If they see that the top management really walk the talk on the core values that we preach, then people will say, oh, this is serious. So if I'm working in this company, then I need to also live the values. So this is number one. And then number two, as an HR functions, so we are the guardian of these values. So we need to have strategy, programs, initiatives to support and ensure that these core values are really being immersed, understood, and really lived by the employee. And there are several strategies to do that through training, through stories. Stories are powerful. So for example, we have this customer service really done outstanding job in providing service to the customers. We put into stories, people see. But on the other hand, also there has to be a communication where when people do not live the values or even breach the values, what are the consequences?
Right.
This is also equally important.
I agree with that. Like storytelling is super powerful, right? Especially in, amplifying a certain values that you wanted to instill. And I think many organizations now are using storytelling to also communicate that into their customers, into their employees as well, to also show them like, this is what are the things that they hold strongly and believe in, right? And I think it's a very powerful tools of influence as well as integrating values into the organizations. Right. Curious to hear as well, like in terms of your effort in implementing some of the culture, the values into the culture, what are some challenges that you face and how do you overcome that?
So again, when the top management really walk the talk, it is much easier. But we live in imperfect world.
Yes, exactly.
So for example, companies have 5 core values, but they just implement 3 or 4.
Right.
The one is being missed. Then normally people will focus on the one thing that is being missed instead of appreciating the other core values that are being embraced. So that's just one of the things. And then the second thing is when really people face real dilemma, and this is a strong test to whether that core values is being implemented. And that's why the classic example is Enron. Enron is a huge energy company from the US. And they had accounting scandals. They have integrity issue. And then what is the number one core value of Enron? Integrity.
Oh dear.
Enron violated their number one core values. Well, within months practically, then the company is gone.
Okay.
But people remember the story.
Because that's like such a fundamental thing, right?
It becomes an example of how core values not being really implemented.
Yeah, exactly. And what are some initiatives to overcome such challenges?
I think the top management really have to be reminded as well. And if the top management are owners of the company, and this is really the owner's values, it will be easier.
Right.
That's why when it comes to second generation, third generation, this can be diluted. Right. So they also need to be reminded how important it is. And then all the employees also need to continuously being reminded as well through all the interventions.
That's really interesting. It reminded me of also the past interview that I had talking about cultures and leadership, right? And I think one of my guest speaker then also mentioned about like, okay, we can do so much more about like, activities and all that. But at the end of the day, it's really about teaching our leaders how to be a kind and caring leader, right? And I think that's like the fundamental things of really instilling a kindness or values that they wanted to instill in the workplace, because that's what I always mention, right? We leave managers, we don't leave job, right? And I think it's important to instill that kind of values of kindness and also teaching the leaders to be a kind and compassionate leaders so that it trickling down to the employees and all that. And that's where people, like some of the organization, have a very strong culture as part of their DNA as well.
That's right.
You're also an author of this book called Great Advice for Solving Everyday Challenge at Work and in Life. So you co-authored this together with David Lee. Tell us a little bit more about this book.
This book is my 4th book.
Right,
and this is my first English book.
Okay.
My number 1 to number 3. My books are in Bahasa Indonesia. This is number 4. I collaborate with David Lee. David Wee is a dear friend and also my mentor as well.
Nice.
This book is about the whole employee experience actually. So this book talks about the experience of people from attraction, development, reward until they are in a retirement stage.
All right.
So David is now retired, so he can talk about it for
Right.
definitely.
Yes.
Well, a lot of these books are his wisdom, and also I put a lot of my elements there as well. And because we have the same route as well, so we both work for General Electric.
Right.
So that's why maybe it's also the values of the company and everything align.
Very nice.
This book all have real stories based on what we experience, what we observe, and we put this into to make it easy for people to read.
Nice. So who will be, the people will benefit from this book? Is it HR professionals or leaders?
No, it's actually all people, professional, whether you are a student or professional, whether you just started your career, to even CEO love this book.
Okay, cool.
It has some multi-dimension elements.
Very nice.
If you start your career, or if you're a manager, then you know how to manage people.
Okay, cool. And how do people get this book?
This is interesting because this book is available in major bookstores in Hong Kong.
Oh, okay. Not available here, guys. So
I-
it's very, very precious.
I will do my best to make this available in Indonesia and Singapore.
Okay, cool. Is there any way that they can order online?
Yes,
Yes.
through Google Play Book.
Okay.
Interestingly, not in Amazon yet, but this is the reality also. I think book is an industry,
Yes.
and to make your book available in regionally or worldwide,
Yeah.
you need to make efforts.
For sure.
I will make that effort.
Cool. Any advice for people who wanted to write their book?
To write the books,
Maybe that's advice for me.
a famous author once told me, the secret of making the book and to complete the book is to keep writing
To keep writing.
until you finish it and you
Right.
refine it and you refine it. I think that's a great strategy, and that's true because it's not easy if you want to make a quality book.
Yes.
But of course, you need to do your research. Who are your target audience? Who are your target readers? What is the unique value proposition of
Yeah.
the book and all that, so that the readers will really benefit from your book.
Okay.
I'm
cool.
sure you will have it soon, Ratna.
Thank you so much, Handi. And just one more question. You've got so many exposure, especially in your career, right? Like being worked in 7 different countries. Is there any one advice would you give to people who wanted to bring their career globally?
I mean, when people have the opportunity to work globally, I think enjoy. Make sure that the transition at the early phase of your global career, you have to enjoy, because sometimes different culture, different challenges,
Right.
and all that. But of course, different advice for people who just started to look for the opportunity. Wow, that would be another 1 hour. Ratna.
Okay, how about the 1 minute advice?
What?
How can get
How you can get a global career?
Global career, yes.
Be very, very good at what you do. And now there are a lot of platforms that give you the opportunity to showcase your
Yes.
knowledge and skills. Don't be shy. Then let people know what you are capable of.
I think that's a very good point you mentioned about letting people know about it, right? Doing that personal branding, because a lot of times people think like, oh, I'm doing a good job and my results should speak by itself, right? If you don't communicate that to others, who will know about it, right? And I think that's also the importance of really building your personal brand, to let others know what you are good at, so that you can get more visibility. And one of the way that I always advise people is to really share that in platform like LinkedIn, because that's where you can also reach a global audience, right? Also attracting potential hiring managers globally as well. And I think that would be also like maybe one steps that it can take to start their global career.
Absolutely.
Right. Okay.
Absolutely.
So how can people, our audience, get to know you, and how do they connect with you, or even maybe potentially getting your book as well?
Well, thank you, Ratna. You can connect me on LinkedIn and Instagram. I think these are the 2 social media that I use the most.
Okay.
So feel free to connect. Happy to connect.
All right, cool. Thank you so much, Handi, for your time and for your amazing insights. I learned so much from this session, and I think I look forward to continuing this conversation again.
It's a pleasure, Ratna. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. And to all our listeners, thank you for tuning in into another episode of the Mindgem Podcast. If you enjoyed today's show, please remember to leave us a review, share with your friends, and don't forget to subscribe for more inspiring conversations. Until next time, keep discovering your inner gem and shining bright.